Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge, and you join us in the car park at Meadow Farm Cottages. And that is because today we're trying to answer a question that I get asked a lot and probably loads of you ask yourself. And that is, in this time of year, the colder months, what should we really be fishing for? Should we be targeting carp and sitting out and trying to catch a few bigger fish? Or should we get the head down and try and catch a few silvers? So a very, very simple concept. I'm going to get set up, I'm going to fish for 2.5 hours for each, and then we're going to weigh in at the end, and hopefully we'll give ourselves an answer to the question, what should we be fishing for this time of year? So I'm going to get the rest of the gear out of the car, get on the peg, and we'll catch up with you there and give you more details about how the day is going to unfold. Right, okay, so we're all set up now, ready to go. I've got all my tackle ready to fish for carp or for silvers, whatever we start on. It's quite a nice day to sit here, nice and sunny, but it's a bit of wind going down it, and it's not potentially going to be the best to catching a load of fish, but that may result in emphasising the fact that what this video is about, and that is, should we be paying more attention to other species apart from carp? So just to clarify what species I mean, is basically anything else that's not a carp or an F1. So we've got eyed, rudd, roach, chub, skimmers, loads of tension here as well. I know you're going to say to me, the purists out there, 10 chance silver, but if you're a match angler, you'll know that in your silverfish net, basically anything goes apart from a carp. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to fish for 2.5 hours each species, a mini weigh-in in the middle, and we'll see what come out on top. Now, it's probably worth mentioning, we're fishing a canal lake here with a brilliant mixture of species, what I've just mentioned. If you're fishing a venue that's just got loads of 10-pound carp in and nothing else, this isn't going to work. So it is a little bit venue dependent, but on lakes such as this, that's got a real mixture of fish, having fished this, I know that matches get one on silverfish, and I know it gets one on carp. So a real good test this is, if we should be paying more attention. So I'm going to flip a coin to see what we start on. Now, it makes no difference to me, so I'm going to say heads will start on silverfish, tails will start on carp, and then we'll see what the first sort of 2.5 hours to bring. So I don't know if you're going to see that, but that's the heads. So it means we're starting on silverfish. I'm all set up like I said, and having fished this a fair bit in the past, I know that most of the silverfish here, certainly the eyed and the roach, is what I'm going to try and initially target. They get caught on the waggler up in the water, spray and maggots. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fish maggots at about 3 foot deep in 6 foot of water on the waggler to start with. And then over the far side, I'll probably do a bit of chopworm and caster fishing, see if there's any tension or skimmers about. But I'm eager to get fishing, so I'm going to get that out there, spray some bait over the top of it, and then we'll talk you through a little while over the rigs in detail and the tackle we're using. But we're just going to see how we get on now. 2.5 hours worth of fishing, and we're starting on the silverfish. So we've been fishing away for a little while now, and it's been okay, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's been absolutely electric like it can be with when these eyed really get feeding, but we've had a good selection of eyed, roach, oh, hook about the net on that one, and a few rudd as well. But these are perfect sort of silverfish weight builders, because they're certainly the hide in here anyway are perhaps between, I don't know, 6 to 8 ounces up to a pound probably. So I mean, when they really get going, you can literally catch them one a chuck. It's not quite been like that, but we've been ticking over, and like I said, it's been, you know, the sun's been in and out. I don't think it's a particularly great fishing situation for it. But what I'll do is, now I'm just baiting this other one up, I'll quickly talk you through the tackle I'm using for this particular setup, because it's got to be fairly balanced to target silverfish, let's face it. So I'll start off, I use a Matrix Aquos 11-foot waggler rod. Now I use this pretty much for all my commercial fishing, even carp, but it's really nice and soft. It's got an all-through action, meaning that it's absolutely fine fishing for smaller silverfish as well. Now that couples up with an Aquos reel, and I've got 4-pound Horizon mainline, and then onto a Matrix loaded waggler. These are brilliant because they literally take 3 number 8s, which are evenly spaced down the line, to get me that nice consistent slow fall. And I've just got a short 6-inch hook link, which is 013, and then a Matrix MXC1, a real fine wire, small size 18 hook. So it's pretty much like standard commercial gear, but just everything fairly small, fairly light, nice and refined, because, you know, you are only fishing for the silverfish. Now don't get me wrong, if you hooked a carp on this or something, you'd be absolutely fine. You'd land it, you just take your time with it. But it's been, you know, absolutely fine for this sort of fishing. Now, actual fishing wise, I'm still fishing 3 foot deep, and I've still just kept spraying that maggot. Every cast I'm putting 15-20 maggots out there perhaps, just to try and get those fish to come off the bottom onto where I'm feeding them. Now I'm clipped up to about, I don't know, I'd probably say 2 to 3 foot off the far side. That tends to be where most of them come, and it's just regular casts. If I don't get a bite perhaps within 30 odd seconds, I'm reeling in and casting in again. I'm missing a few bites now, because I want to get my hook bait falling through the water. You know, I'm trying to catch these fish shallow, and that's the importance of the light line and the shotting pattern, in the fact that I'm getting that real nice slow fall of bait as we go. So I don't actually know how long I've been fishing for. There's another fish. Oh, I just pulled out that one. But we've had a steady-ish sort of stream. You know, if you see me fish away there, we've had 3 or 4 bites fairly quick, and it's just been like that from the start really. So I'm going to give this another, I don't know, I'm going to certainly carry on for another 20 minutes to half an hour, and then if it doesn't significantly really pick up, or it goes a bit iffy and they back off a little bit, I'll perhaps try that chop worm and caster line to see if there's any sort of tench or skimmers willing to feed as well. But for now, I'm just going to plug away on this and see if we can put a few more of those fish together. Right, so as you can see, I've switched over to the pole now, and we've got about half an hour left. And to be honest, the waggler was okay. It never really quite got going. It was just the odd roach and rudd with a nice bonus hide here and there. But, you know, we are in the sort of middle to end of January, so you're not expecting huge weights. But all I've done on this, we've got half an hour left, like I said, to fish perhaps a bonus fish, is I've cupped in 1/4 of a pot of chop worm and caster over towards the far side. Now I'm going to fish a little worm section over the top, just to see if there's a bonus tench, maybe some more hide or something to be had closer to the bottom in these sort of colder temperatures. But yeah, I'm going to carry on now, crack on with this next half an hour, and then we'll weigh those in and see what the silver side of the fishing has brought us in the first half. Well, there we go, there's a fish. Pretty confident bite. It's quite hard conditions to fish the pole on. It sort of a crosswind makes it really awkward, but it's not too bad. It is fishable, and we've got a perch. So he's in the silvers category. Something else, and another fish that you can target if there's a few of these. Most carp lakes actually contain little perch that people very rarely fish for, and sometimes actually they can go quite big. I don't think they're very big in here, but another thing to certainly think about. Well, he's a better ride. He's probably getting on towards a pan. So they have gone 17-7 for the Silverfish. Bearing in mind that that's pretty much half a match that I've fished there. Sort of 35 to 40 pound is probably what you're looking at if you fished hard. And to be honest with you, the pole was a lot better than the wag. I was a victim there of trying something I knew worked last time I was here. Potentially should have gone the pole earlier. So every time you go fishing, there's something to learn. That, for me, I gave the waggler too long. But yeah, we're talking sort of 35 to 40 pound of silverfish. That is not bad in the middle of sort of January. But we're now going to get on the carp and see what they're saying. Right, so on to the carp fishing. Like I said, pretty decent sort of standard weight set by the silverfish. And like I said, if I really went for it and fished a different method, I probably could have beat that. But we'll go straight onto the tackle we're using. Now, I'm going to keep this really simple. It tends to be in this style of like canal fishing. Most of the fishing is over the far side. So 16 metres to the far side, another section further than where we were fishing on the pole for the silvers. The baits are going to change slightly, so I'm going to cup in some micro pellet. I'm probably still going to be fishing maggot on the hook, to be honest. It is cold. Like I said, now especially, light's drawing so quick in these days, in these cold winter days. So the temperature's already dropping. I can feel that sitting here. So I'm not going to do nothing drastic. I've added a toss pot onto the end of the pole. There's going to be a few micros in there, a few maggots, and then that's just going to be cupped over the top. Rig wise, I've got 014 mainline. Again, a spaced out bulk of number 8s. So it's literally all the way through my rig. So I'm going to try and get a nice slow fall. And then I've got an MCX2, so a slightly thicker wire hook, just because again we are targeting potentially bigger fish. Now the carp in here aren't particularly massive, so I don't feel I've got the issue of, you know, needing to gear up for it or anything like that, and I can just fish away nice and neat, and hopefully a few fish will be coming our way. So I'm going to put, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 maggots in there, fill that up with micros, and then just give them a little squeeze, and that's it. Now this is going to be my initial feed. I'm not going over there with a cup or anything. Keep it nice and simple, and you can always add bait, but you can never take it away. So a big sort of plus, I would say, or thing to pay attention to this time of year, is be a little bit negative with it. But I'm going to get shipped out there now, and hopefully it won't be too long before we're switching over to the carp and playing one of those. Straight over, I've got a far back marker that I'm fishing to. This wind is not really making it easy for me. And we're going to tap those micros in, and then we're just going to lower the rig over top of it. Now with that shot spaced out, that's going to sink really naturally and hopefully catch someone's eye on the way down, but we'll see how that gets on in the next few minutes. Well, there we go, the first bite over there on the carp line. And to be honest with you, it's taken a little while, but that is to be expected. You know, we're fishing in a cold conditions, and they can be pretty moody if you know when you go out carp fishing. This is a tiny little F1 actually, and there's a lot of these in here. Predominantly, I would guess that's what's going to make up the majority of our carp fishing. I mean, this one's extra small, and there's definitely bigger ones than this, and there is some fairly decent carp in here as well, so hopefully 1 or 2 of those show up. But I'm guessing what I'm going to do now is get my head down over that far side, try and build a swim up. I think there's going to be a few of these in the cards for us, and then we're going to see what these compare to the silverfish fishing area. Been fishing away now for, I don't really know, I haven't kept track of the time, but a few F1s have sort of steadily kept creeping in. This one feels a little bit bigger. The first one that sort of shot off the bank is when I hooked it, so I'm just going to take my time with him. Like I said, I don't think there's anything massive in here. I mean, I would say that the biggest fish I would expect would be sort of 4 or 5 pound would be a real big one for this lake. So this is why I picked this venue, to see if, you know, what would come across if we fished against silverfish, because they are, you know, them I were catching earlier nearly a pound, and if the F1s are that big, it doesn't make a huge difference. But this isn't an F1, this is the first little carp, and I would say he's probably 2 and a bit pounds. So certainly if these had a really big feed up and you had a nest of these in front of you, you'd definitely target the carp. But it's been a little bit moody. They are hard to catch when it gets colder, so it's going to be interesting when it comes to the end. But we'll get this one slipped in the net, fish away for a little bit longer, and obviously see what those all important results are saying. Well, it's pretty close, 15-7. So again, halfway for a match, you're talking 30 to 40 pound again if you really went for it and you weren't filming. So really close to the silvers, and certainly, you know, it's given us a lot to think about. So let me get these tipped back and I'll do an evaluation of what I think is the best way going forward, attacking venues just like this one here. Right, well, we are back packed up now inside the car. The weather has absolutely turned on and it's rained, and as it does this time of year, the light has pulled in ridiculously quick. But a quick evaluation of the day before we shoot off, and at the start of the video we asked what should we be fishing for, silvers or carp. Now it's been really close. Technically on weight, silverfish would have potentially been better today, because for a half a match I had a higher weight of silvers than did carp. But this is going to be controversial. I'm going to say what you should be fishing for is both. Now I'll evaluate a little bit on that. So what I mean is, carp fishing especially, if the fish are there in your peg, you'll know quite quick. So I think on venues where it's a very mixed fishery like the one we fished today, you should definitely start off fishing for carp for 15-20 minutes. They'll soon let you know if they're there. Now if they're not, I think you can then really get your head down and fish for silverfish, as today has proved. Like I said, you do have to work at it, and once you've made that decision, there's not going to be a big weight, I've not got a load of carp in me, get your head down, fish for silvers and see if you can do a weight like that. And then potentially the last 15-20 minutes, half an hour let's say, you can pick your carp rig up and see if there's a bonus fish to have at the end of the match, like there most often is. So although we haven't had a definitive answer there of what should we be fishing for, hopefully you can take something away from those two sort of half and half matches and put into your own fishing and your own venue that offers a lot of fishing. So that's it from us from this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again on the next one.